Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to Art Adventures. So today we're going to go ahead and draw a great ball, and I'm going to use this cap to kind of trace my object, my circle. And basically, if you haven't watched already, go back and watch how to draw a Pokeball, and I kind of go a little bit more in detail on how to do it. But tracing an object is probably going to be the best method for it. Then I cut this in fours, just like I would be cutting, like say, a slice of or a pizza pie into 4 different slices, and I'm trying to get it as even as possible. So I notice here I got to go over a little bit to the left to get it pretty much even, and I'm using these Col-Erase colored pencils that allow me to erase any lines that I need while still giving me color, which I really enjoy, instead of just doing the regular graphite, black and white, shading, so on and so forth. But yeah, I really like these colored pencils, and it really helps a lot. So once you have it into 4 even slices to the best of your ability, I'm using a bottle like this. I noticed that this is a little too big, so the cap is a little smaller. I'm gonna go ahead and put that cap on, and I'm gonna try to position it to the best of my ability and try to see how much space I have around the entire edge. That looks pretty good, so I'm gonna go ahead and trace it, but we can always tweak what we're erasing or what we're tracing by erasing. We're gonna continue, and basically what we're gonna do is, this is the inside of where your button would be. This is more of a guide, and so I'm gonna go ahead and draw my button, and my button, I'm just going to sketch it in, and really what I'm doing is trying to stay the same distance from the outside border pretty much on the entire thing, and I can keep kind of sketching and going darker and lighter on areas, erasing areas that I think need to be tweaked. So I'm not necessarily going off of these lines, I'm going off of the spacing between here. All right, so now what I need to do is give myself another little circle on the inside. All right, that's pretty good. Now, if I went too fast, guys, remember it's YouTube. You can always pause it, go back, rewind, so on and so forth, and then just kind of tweak as we go. So I'm gonna go ahead and get started on the middle line, and that's gonna be the separation from the top and the bottom. This is gonna be a blue side, this is gonna be a white side, so on and so forth. And basically we're gonna go around, say the top of this inner circle, and we're gonna go straight across to the best of our ability. If you have something to trace with, that's perfect, that's awesome. I don't have anything to trace with that's a straight edge next to me, so I'm just gonna freehand it to the best of my abilities. Same thing on the bottom. So there's going to be a slight gap on this edge and on this edge. And the reason why is this side kind of hangs over a little bit and then comes down, follows that line. And then the same thing up here, hangs over, follows that side. So we can go ahead and erase these lines, which I'll do in just a second. And that is gonna give it the actual look that we're looking for. So now that we have these lines, let's go ahead and get these, there's 2 rectangles, these red rectangles done and drawn in. So we're gonna go ahead and go about halfway, maybe a little bit more. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go above this, just by a little bit, not a lot, but I'm gonna go up above it, and that's gonna give me that 3D effect that I'm looking for. Same thing here, I'm gonna go to the side and give myself my rectangle. Now it's gonna get a little wider on the top, and it's not gonna be this perfect rectangle, but just something like that. And then we're gonna get these colored red, while this is gonna be, this half moon is gonna be blue, this one will be white, the inside will be dark gray and black. And we're gonna go ahead and start erasing now. So this is why I like using these Col-Erase colored pencils. I like the blue color, or I like the just color in general to give me my foundation lines, because then I can change the color if I needed to and do some different foundation lines and kind of edit that out as well. So the reference lines I'm erasing, this line here and this line here are not going to be part of our drawing. And then the outside lines here and here, for these cross lines, the inside of this rectangle shape up here, and then this cross-reference line right here, and that looks pretty much good. Now remember, it's not going to be perfect. I'm using a permanent marker, and the permanent marker is going to go ahead and I'm going to lose some of that crispness that I traced with, but just to get the actual drawing done itself, that's going to help. Now, before I go ahead and actually outline this entire picture, I'm going to go ahead and outline the highlights and the shadows, just like I did in the past video with the Pokeball. So I'm going to go ahead and draw myself a little oval here on top, and then I'm also going to draw an oval kind of on this side right here, but it's going to kind of peek out over here as well. And that's not going to be a perfect oval. It's just a highlight, so it doesn't necessarily have to be perfect. Now from the midpoint here, I'm going to go in a little bit, and this is going to be my shadow, and it's going to be kind of like a crescent moon. I'm just going to kind of follow this guideline here, and I'm not going to outline these lines because it's a shadow and a highlight, and it's nothing that needs to be outlined. It's just going to be distinct once you start coloring. Okay, and then I'm going to go past that on the bottom, past that halfway point, so it looks like the light is coming from this direction on here, and then the shadow will be on this side here. All right, and I'm going to do one more highlight, and that highlight's going to be this longer highlight right there. So now that this is done with the outline of the highlights and the shadows, I'm going to go ahead and get this outlined. All right, so today's coloring materials are going to be my Ohuhu alcohol-based markers, and basically I'm going to go ahead and get the highlights done first so that I can work my way to the darker side and give myself the effect that I'm looking for. So I'm going to use my blending tool, and that blending tool is really going to help me with my highlights. All right, guys, so now since we've already finished our coloring, I'm gonna go ahead and give myself a background, just like I did in the Pokeball. And now since I have this colored and my background here, I'm gonna go ahead and give myself a background for that. And I'm gonna do a complementary color of the red, just like I did in my Pokeball drawing that I did earlier last week. And what I'm doing is I'm giving this a base coat of a gray that has kind of like a greenish blue hue to it. And then I'm going to go ahead and color it with more of a actual green. It's still a gray, but is a lot more green than it is gray. And it's going to kind of blend these two colors together. So I still have a neutral grayish color, but you still see a lot of that green popping through. And it's going to be a really nice color to complement I would do a complement of blue, but a complement of blue is orange, and that won't look good as a background. So I didn't want to overkill the background with an orange, so I decided to do green, which complements that little bit of red that's there, makes that pop a little bit more. All right, and our final touch is I'm gonna take my little white gel pen and I'm gonna give my drawing a couple little spots to really pop through. And then I'm also going to give myself a little bit of what we call reflective light. And this method, I just tried out and it came out pretty good. So I went ahead and did my gel pen, but I don't want that as white as this. So I just dabbed it with my finger and dimmed down that highlight. And that's basically a reflective light. And what that means is the objects behind this, that light bounces off, give off a little bit of light, hence reflective light. The light is reflecting off of the objects behind the Pokeball, and that light is now being pushed back onto our Pokeball. So yep, that's it, guys. I appreciate you guys watching. I hope you guys enjoyed that. I'm gonna get the Master Ball to you as soon as possible, and I'm gonna use a different medium. Maybe I'll use color pencils or regular Crayola markers. I'm not 100% sure yet. Maybe I'll do pastels and see how that comes out as well. So I look forward to it, guys. I appreciate you guys watching. If you like what you see, go ahead and leave a thumbs up. If you have any other requests, let me know. Put it in the comments and I'll get that to you as soon as possible, guys. I appreciate you guys watching. As always, I'm out. See you later. Peace.